go. We're in the 9th chapter of Bava. So we're into matters relating to theft. And we've said already that this is a sort of a, I don't want to say a random theft, but the kind of theft we're talking about is, someone walks into someone else's field and they just take something. It's not a robber who breaks in at night and it's not what we call a burglar in modern language. A burglar has to pay back twice or maybe even 4 or 5 times. This is someone who just casually takes someone else's property. And they only have to pay back what they've stolen plus a fifth. Remember that the Talmudic fifth is 25%. It's not 20%. So it's a fifth of the total. And the Mishnah is really interested in timing. So we've learned this general rule. All robbers pay as at the moment of theft. So in other words, if you walk off with someone's cow and then the cow gives birth, you only have to give back the cow or the value of a cow about to give birth, not the calf. And as we go through the 9th chapter, I will try and look at 2 or 3 Mishnayot. Now, we'll see that the Mishnah is going to elaborate, but also constrict this principle. So jumping into the 2nd Mishnah, Gazal behemava hizkina. So someone stole a beast and it got old. The presumption is the value dropped actually as it got old. Gazal behemava hiskina. So someone stole a beast and it got old. Avadim vehiskinu, or slaves and they got old. I don't know how you steal slaves, but it's the Mishnah is working through the possibilities. And we're going to stick to our principle, Mishalem kishat hagzela. We're going to pay as at the moment of theft, i.e., we're going to just pay as they were. And Rabbi Meir is going to object. Rabbi Meir omer ba'avadim omer lo harei shelcha lefanecha. With slaves, he can say to him, that is, the thief can say to him, the thief can say to the owner, here is what is yours before you, i.e., you just get your slave back. What is it about slaves? Well, there seems to be, Rabbi Meir seems to have a principle that you cannot take ownership of a slave. With regard to the cattle, we've already discussed the fact, the principle in the Mishnah is that the thief takes possession of the object when they walk off with it. So they have to give back the value of what they took. But because they've got possession of it, any future increase in value belongs to them. And that is not the case with, it seems Rabbi Meir says it's not the case with people. And by the way, it's not the case with land. And the thing about land, and Rabbi Meir is going to associate people now with land, is you cannot steal land. You can't steal land. Land has its own ownership, which passes as it passes. But you don't take possession of land by walking off with it. And Rabbi Meir is saying that people are the same, that the ownership of this slave is with the owner, and walking off with the slave doesn't change their ownership. It doesn't change their fundamental association. And that's why we don't get into questions of appreciation or depreciation, because this slave never belongs to the person that walked off with it. It always belonged to the owner. And that's why he says, here's what is yours. It's already yours, and it's sitting in front of you. So it doesn't go according to the principle, everything runs according to the moment of theft. And let's play around. Let's look at, the Mishnah is going to bring 2 other examples, which will emphasize this difference, but in slightly different dimensions. Gazal matbe'ev, and he stuck. Someone stole a coin and it cracked. So again, the values dropped. He stole fruit and they rotted. Yain v'hechmitz, stole wine and it turned into vinegar. This is probably very common in the time of the Mishnah because they probably couldn't seal off bottles with quite the same precision that we seal them today. And they didn't use sulfites. So it must have been very common that wine went bad. Meshalem kishat hagzela. He pays as at the moment of theft. So he stole something good. The fact that it deteriorated later is that's his problem. It's not the owner's problem. The owner gets compensated as at the moment of theft. But this is where it gets interesting. Matbea v'nifsal. He took a coin. The coin became nifsal, pasul. It became invalid. It went out of use. It stopped being legal tender. So it's the same coin. The coin hasn't changed, but we can't use it in the same way that we could use it because it's no longer legal tender. It's out of use. Teruma v'nit mate. He took teruma and it became impure. So something must have come into contact with it. But not physically, it's the same truma. It's the same truma. We just can't use it in the Beit Mikdash. And we can't give it to a Kohen. But it's the same truma. Chametz ve'avar alav ha'pesach. He took leaven. He took leavening or leaven. He took something that was chametz, something that couldn't be eaten on Pesach. Ve'avar alav ha'pesach. And Pesach happened. Well, we know that if you hold stuff over Pesach, we have to get rid of chametz on Pesach. And if you don't get rid of it, then effectively you're fined because it can't be used after Pesach. It's got to be got rid of. It's got to be got rid of afterwards. It can't be used. So this chametz, this leavening that he took, has just become unusable. Like the coin that's no longer legal tender or the truma that became impure. Let's keep going. We got more examples. A beast, he stole a beast and it was used for a transgression. Same beast, but its status has changed. It became unfit to be offered for some other reason. It went out to be stoned. Maybe this is a beast that gored somebody. Well, we know about beasts that gore because they can be condemned to be stoned, and we're not allowed to benefit from them. In all these cases, the object itself is still the same object, but its value is zero because of some change in circumstances. And it seems that the thief is not responsible for these kind of changes. He says, oh yeah, here's your stuff. Here's your stuff. I'm not responsible for these changes of circumstance. I would be responsible if the fruit rotted, or if the wine turned into vinegar, or if the coin cracked. I'm responsible if there's a physical change to these objects which I stole. I'm going to pay you as at the moment of theft. But if circumstances change, well, that's kind of out of my responsibility. I just give you back what I took from you. And the fact that your coin is no longer legal tender is not my problem. What if we're dealing not with theft, but with custody? And we saw, by the way, that all of these laws are derived from a verse in Leviticus, in Vayikra. If someone sinned and is guilty, he restores that which he's robbed. Or or the thing which he obtained by oppression. Or or the deposit that was deposited with him. or et ha'aveda asher matzah, or the lost thing which he found. So these categories, the stuff that you took, the stuff that you kind of extracted unreasonably, something that was put in your custody, something which was lost and you found. These are all things that you're holding on to that don't belong to you. And the same halacha seems to apply to them. So the Mishnah is now going to move to talk about objects given to a craftsman to repair. Natan l'umanim l'taken. So someone gave some stuff to a craftsman to repair. The craftsman is effectively holding these on trust. He hasn't stolen them. He's got them voluntarily, but he holds them on trust. Vekil kalu, and the craftsman ruined them. So you give beautiful, I don't know, you might have given some beautiful gemstones to a craftsman to repair, and for some reason he smashed them. Hayavin l'shalem, the craftsmen have to pay. Just as if they'd stolen it, they have to pay. It's in their custody. Natan l'charash, shida. So he gave a box to a carpenter. Teva umigdal l'taken, or a chest or a cupboard to repair. So he gave a piece of furniture to be repaired. Vekil kel, and the carpenter ruined it. Chayav l'shalem, he's got to pay. Vehabanai, shekibel lavli storet hakotel, a builder who undertook to pull down a wall. Veshiberet avanim, he broke the stones. He was supposed to take down the wall and stack up the stones carefully. Stones are precious things. In the time of the Mishnah, you have to quarry a long time to get a nice stone. People would reuse stones from buildings. You can see that. I mean, you can see in Jerusalem, you can see Herodian stones used in later buildings. Stones are valuable things, but he broke the stones. Or shehizik, maybe he made damage. Maybe he damaged something else while taking the wall down. Chayav l'shalem, he's got to pay. So it's, again, we're extending and extending this definition. We haven't given the builder something to watch out for, but we've put him in charge of something, and he's made a mess. He's got to pay. If he's responsible, haya soter mitzad ze v'nafal mitzad acher. Maybe he was taking the wall down at one end, and the other end fell down. Atur, he's free in that case. Ve'im mechamat hamaka chayav. He's free. If it fell due to the blow, he's still liable. In other words, if the wall just fell down not as a result of his taking down operations, he's not liable. If he hit the wall, if the wall falls down because of the way he hit it, he's got to take care. The assumption in all of these situations is the craftsman takes care. If he doesn't take care, he's responsible. And I suppose you could say that relates, of course, to the whole of the tractate that we're learning. If something's under your responsibility, you have to take care of it. And if we don't take care of something that's under our responsibility, then we're liable.